Yes. What this does feel like a grand rising. Of Europa. I'm learning the truth. No time to be wrong. If you say something dumb, I'm on your boots. What the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. I need sources to state that fact. I bring that back right back to the truth. I'm learning the truth. No time to be wrong. If you say something dumb, I'm on your boots. What the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. I see sources to state that fact. I bring that back right back to the truth. Run that back. I'm sensing a lie. That ain't consistent, I'm hearing it different. I'm hip to the mission, you hear the vibe. Still in submission, the key in ignition. I flip it, transmission to see how you drive. Drifting the linen, I see how you winning. The time Teddy sticky, you know how it fly. It's the truth. Come back like surprise. Life is a cake, if you wait, keep it straight on the pace. Can't wait to give me that pie. What about proof? Straight from the roots. Need proof that's straight from the roots. Need me some proof. Need me some proof that's straight from the roots. Straight from the roots. I need proof. None that other shit, nigga. I don't need rhetoric, nigga. I need the proof. I'm learning the truth. No time to be wrong. If you say something dumb, I'm on your boots. What the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. I need sources to state that fact. I bring that back right back to the truth. I'm learning the truth. No time to be wrong. If you say something dumb, I'm on your boots. What the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. I see sources to state that fact. I bring that back right back to the truth.
Man, oh man. I don't know about nobody else, but typically when we have these type of conversations, the key focal point is, what is your proof? What can you provide? What can you bring to the conversation to validate or invalidate? Mama Steph, am I lying?
Negatory. It's all about the sources.
Only thing that's going to save you is your source. You going to live on the source or you going to die by the source. You're going to have to source up or shut up. Shout outs to those individuals. Introducing to the stage, we have Aaron. Brother, are you here with us today?
Yeah, I'm in here, man. Can I be heard?
Yes, you can be heard. Go ahead and give us a brief 1-minute introduction to yourself, your theological view, and anything you think is pertinent for us to know.
Just a short summary is I'm a Torah only type of. I've been doing debates for a little while and been narrowing down things that are pretty pertinent to us as a nation, us as a people, here in the lands we're currently in, man. So, other than that, I'm glad to have the Akan step forward so we can just get down to what the scriptures say, and I love the foundation being sources, and we can all acknowledge that our sources is in the scripture, they're primary sources, so that's what we're going to be standing by. So, other than that, shalom to everybody.
Y'all heard it first, man. He said the scriptures are primary sources, and you're going to have to stand on that. Listen, I'm one to agree with that sentiment. Don Bird, are you here today, man?
I'm here. I'm present.
Now, a little birdie told me when Pro Rizzo 1 comes to the stage, it ain't nothing but the law and the testimony. Is that accurate?
Well, folks, y'all know what time it is. I have to say it again for you. Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to these, it's because there's no light in them. That is clear evidence. Law's instructions. Testimony is clear evidence. Things you can use for proof, like DNA, fingerprints. Did God really say this? Is it in the book? Can we find it? Does it exist? Is it opinions? Evidence weighs against opinions in a court of law. Well, in God's court, he tells you at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall be established. even if a man is accused of a crime, you have to have witnesses. Why? Because witness brings clear testimony. And you can't bring up a false witness. Otherwise, the false witness would take the penalty of the person who stood accused. So, in this whole debate about the 400-year prophecy, I'm not a stranger to this at all. But I think that it is time that we dig into it with a little bit more detail. I definitely do. There's an elder by the name of Elder Shadrach. He talked about the 400-year prophecy on YouTube some years ago. I discovered him. They say the time started at 1619 and it ended abruptly at 2019. I think if we do the math, that's 400 years, isn't it? Yeah. The question is, are we arguing the 400 years God talked about with Abraham? Did God mean the 400 years pertaining to 1619? And who are the key players involved? And what about those judgments? You know, the nations that shall afflict them, I will judge. I mean, did he judge America? I mean, we're still here. You know, a lot of questions, a lot of ground to cover in this debate. So, you know, tonight we're going to talk about this title. Brother, since you're here, I think that can be something we can get out the way. But I'm going to yield up, mute up, and see, kind of where your head is on this.
I think that's
And I
something.
yield the floor back.
Yeah, I think that's something definitely we're gonna have to talk about. Brother Aaron, how did we come to this title, and why do you feel as if you're gonna walk away with the victory on this? Typically, when people choose a title or something that they're comfortable with, and they feel as if they have the upper hand, can you explain yourself and expound on that, please?
Well, yeah. The reason why I feel confident, I mean, simply put, is because I'm sticking to what the scriptures say. Realizing it was never fulfilled in antiquity, it was never fulfilled in any other point in history. So that's a real clue indicator. Because that alone right there foretells where we at now. If it was already, if it already occurred, then we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. But there's no, I believe I heard B-Brother say something about opinions earlier, but the opinions of commentators, the opinions of, theologians, the opinions of Midrash and a lot of other things state that this occurred in ancient Egypt. However, that can't be proven, bro. Like, you can't come close to proving that 400 years of enslavement and affliction occurred in an ancient African territory against any nation, not just Hebrews. I mean, they weren't doing the things that these nations, particularly this one here, was doing to folks. So it's an entirely different scope of slavery, of enslavement, of affliction. The other point that I will make, and these are just small points prior to us getting into the actual debate, but another point would be the context of the prophecy, brother. It didn't say 400 years. And I think you said something about it abruptly ended. There's no abruption in that prophecy. It kind of gives you chronological order. It says after the 400 years, which is what, brother? We would equate that to what it says, being a punishment. After this punishment is over, the next step of this prophecy is that nation, I will judge. And you can't define judgment, brother. I can't define judgment. But, our reality to the left, right, up, and down is defining everything we need to know. So you would have to be able to change scripture. You would have to be able to change fact and the facts of the hermeneutics of Torah and Tanakh, proving that this was a future prophecy for these nations. And you would also have to change our everyday occurrences, every day that we wake up ever since this thing occurred. And mind you, a quick little thing to throw your way, bro. Please don't come in here with 1619, 2019 with Gregorian timelines, because our forefathers would have never even went by this. So I would implore you to maybe stick to, when a new year truly begins, and now correlate that with what occurred 400 years after we were here. No 2019 involved, no 2019 in your mind.
Okay. Not too much. We got to keep it brief and and I don't want to cut you. But you said a lot of powerful stuff right there, and you punch it to the gut. Keep it brief and concise. Don Bird, what you got to say?
I mean, what level of hermeneutics are we discussing other than biblical hermeneutics? That's number one. The text that stands is you calling primary source. I do not call primary source. That is a secondary source. In fact, all Bible translations are just merely second or even third hand source information. You're relying on that, and then you're making appeal to something as subjective as, Gregorian calendars. That's not what I'm using. If you're going to use a calendar, we have to go back into antiquity with the calendar they actually used. And you and I wouldn't know that. We weren't there. We're not witnesses, see? We don't have clear testimony. We do have testimony of historians, scholars like, Josephus. He actually says that the Exodus happened in Egypt. In fact, in the book 2 of the Wars of the Jews, he actually starts with the time with Isaac in around 1750 BC. And he begins to tell the tale about this, about, Jacob being in the land of Egypt. He actually talks about that. So we won't be using any Gregorian calendars. And we won't be using any Julian calendars. After all, these people have their own method of keeping time. In fact, God gave them a calendar when they came out of Egypt. And he told them, this shall be your new month, the beginning of your year. Abib, Abib, or Nisan. The year they came out of the Egyptian affliction. See, I'm going to be arguing for that. No need to use a Gregorian or Julian calendar now, would we? Why would we do that?
Okay,
No, we wouldn't do that. You see?
wait one second, because it sounds like Don Bird is calling a straw man or a red herring right off the rip. He's saying he not using none of that. He going back to antiquity and how they handle time, seasons, things of that nature. Brother Aaron, are you with me right now?
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm a little perplexed how he said that we weren't a witness to the calendrical cycle yet. He mentioned the Beeb spring and the sun. Like, to me, that right there already shows a little bit of unbalance and
A
you
little red
affirming
flag.
his thesis. Yeah, I mean, I would say so. But I'm gonna let the brother keep talking.
I don't want to let him ramble. I want to give both of you guys an equal opportunity to go in there, touch on certain points. I don't want it to be a reveal of one party. See what I'm saying, brother? Don Bird says that he's not coming with that timeline that you're anticipating. Do you think that you'll be able to adjust or account for him not using that, or do you think he's just trying to throw you off?
Well, he can't throw me off because he already conceded to the fact that spring is a new year, and I agree with that, and that's what I'll be using. So, that's pretty much where we at. Unless and plus, whenever he's going to use Egypt and the sojourning of the children of Israel in Egypt and Canaan, there was 430 years. So, what would his measurements be for those 430 years? I'd have to use him to that same.
Don?
Well, it's real simple. It's real simple without the deceitful tactics. It's simple. What God gives to Abraham is an exact timeline. The issue is, how do you confirm what God is saying to Abraham? Well, we confirm it the same way we confirm everything else out of the Bible. And you know what that is? Just take a wild guess what that might be.
Testimony?
The Bible itself, the testimony itself, witnesses. See, this is what's going to eat your lunch. You understand? The witnesses. See, we think that the prophets are credible witnesses. In fact, the Bible says so. Ye are my witnesses. That's in the book of Isaiah. So, are the witnesses credible? See, this debate is going to boil down to, credibility on the side of the witnesses. And you and I are gonna argue like lawyers. Is what's gonna happen.
So you saying
So
that his witnesses are shaky? He's not. When his
what
witnesses take the stand, you're gonna be able to tear that apart. Basically,
basically.
counsel has a weak
Basically.
defense. You feel?
That's right. That's exactly the case. So, I don't know what timeline you're gonna try to use, but do understand, in any case, time is just one factor. Witnesses is another. Proof is another. You've got a big hill to climb, and it's sandy, and you're gonna be running out of time in the debate trying to do that.
Mm.
But I will say this one thing, and I'll yield. What God says to Abraham has to be true. I think we both can agree to that. The question is God still saying the same thing in the latter times of that prophecy in the Bible with the witnesses? Or is it like this? And I wanna play a little something here just for the room's entertainment.
Peace, Elder.
Peace, my dear.
Now represents a very important time, especially for the children of Israel. All I'm hearing is about these 400 years. When did you start first teaching about the 400 years?
I taught teaching me the 400 years a very long time now. In the late 80s, I was talking to people about it, and sometimes I got a lot of rude, and that it happened before, and it happened in Egypt, and some people say where you get it from, and I said it's in the Bible. And they would say, that's what happened in Egypt before. And that was one of the things that set me to put it in the book, because I start putting like what happened to every country in every 400 years, what they have done to the children of Israel.
Now, this is the kind of stuff that we're gonna be discussing tonight. They say, she say, he say. Yeah, after what God done said. It's funny, Abraham don't even do that much talking about it. Did you ever notice that? Abraham doesn't even do that much talking as we do. So, that being stated, who's right? Who's the witnesses? Now, he'll go on in this video and he'll talk more. I won't play any more of that. The point is, they say it already happened. I have at least one historian, a Jewish historian, that says that prophecy of Bereshit 15 was already fulfilled. At least one. And we have at least one other competing argument saying it was America. So who we gonna believe? And I yield.
Okay, interesting point. And when you landed there, you brought it right back to the title. And I'll actually rephrase it. One of the mods, can you bring up Triller, please, and give him a beam? I'm sorry for falling off the point. When you landed there, it brought it right back to the title, Don. Was the 400-year prophecy of Genesis 15, we're being specific here, y'all, fulfilled in Africa or America? Now, I'm going under the assumption that the brother Aaron is picking the American stance. Is that correct?
Indeed.
Is there anything that you could just give us, any throwaways? I don't want you to give us, you know what I mean, your bullets for the actual debate. But do you have any throwaway punches, any leftover lunch meat that you can make a quick sandwich and let us know how you're piecing this together with America?
Well, we got a whole bunch. So I definitely have a lot to spare. The first thing I want to speak about is the witnesses. Flavius Josephus, who you brought up, bro, he wasn't a witness to anything that occurred in ancient Kemet, not even close. So you can't say we can't have a say so, but this Josephus Flavius character, who even European scholars don't even agree on his writings, bro, as a collective. You know, you can't bring that into this debate. Whenever you want to talk about eyewitnesses, would be like my daddy, your folks, all of our people's folks, they great grands and our great 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 grands that been an eyewitness to the enslavement, the affliction, and the humbling that has occurred to us for 400 years. So you want to talk about ancestral eyewitnesses, bro? Come on, now, there's a plethora of that, and we all understand that and comprehend that, you know. And as far as uh, primary source, I believe you said that we don't agree that the scriptures are a primary source. If you would clarify that on your next turn to speak, because I really would like to know if you're defining scriptures as a secondary source or not, because then, you know, I'm just not going to even say too much past that, and I'll save that for the debate. But without a doubt, the scriptures are the primary source, and that's why I didn't hear anything from who you would believe would be your forefathers. Like I didn't hear nothing about the Song of Moses, Deuteronomy 32, which is cohesive with these latter days of affliction and humbling and enslavement in these lands for what our ancestors did. I ain't hear nothing about no Ezekiel, no Jeremiah, no Joel, no Micah, no nobody. We go straight to Josephus, and then you talking about some historian, bruh. I'm gonna be completely honest and respectfully say this. You can keep them secondary sources. All them Europeans that gonna try to tell us what happened with us, what happened, when, where, why, and how. We know at the end of the day, our latter day prophecy family is for us to have this spirit in us, for us to comprehend what's what. It ain't say shit about our oppressors gonna tell us nothing. It ain't say nothing about no
Right,
linguist, no historian, no nothing. It said
right,
he's gonna put his
right.
spirit into us for us to comprehend what our scriptures say. So if you don't comprehend it, bruh, uh, that's on you. But I'm going to be bringing scriptures. And a second little throwaway that I have as a secondary source, this is a secondary source without a doubt, not primary. Primary is going to only be the scripture. Secondary source is the congressional document, H.R. 1242, which signifies 400 years of enslavement and affliction of our ancestors and us here in the United States. You could go check that
Debunk
out.
it.
They didn't, they didn't, they didn't sign anything 200 years, 250 years, 280, 300, 350, and nothing like that, brother. An exact 400 years. And that would be a weak secondary source. There's a plethora of things that are cohesive and hermeneutic with that prophecy and us in these lands today. Please don't bring
Okay,
these
whoa, whoa, whoa,
these
whoa,
these
whoa,
so-called
whoa,
historians.
whoa, whoa. Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. It's too much fire on this. Wait a second.
Whoa.
What? Wait a second. Let me introduce some people that just came to the stage. Triller, are you here with us? Is that Jeremiah Judah? Is that Jeremiah
Yes,
JJ
sir.
7000?
Shalom, my king.
Oh, shalom. It's a party in here. Hey, you see what's going on, right?
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm listening.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Triller, I just wanted to point you out real quick. I appreciate you for giving us the green light to actually have this prelim on here. So I just wanted to make that known real quick, involve you in the conversation. Don Bird, Pro Rizzo 1. Brother just gave us his throwaway. He said those were throwaways, and he actually wants you to respond to those. He don't even think you can handle the throwaways. What you got to say?
Well, that's what you do with trash. You throw it away. And it's for
It's trash? Yuck? Ew? Trash? Aaron, Aaron, what do you feel about Don Bird saying the throwaways is exactly what it is? Trash.
I, I'm not even gonna hold no punches, bro. I'm gonna tell exactly the first thing came in my mind when the brother said that that our history here is trash and it's not cohesive at all with the prophecy. And then he's gonna say it's trash. The congressional document that came up. The two words that popped in my mind is Stockholm syndrome. That's literally it.
Oh, well, wait. So he's afflicted. Don Bird is suffering. That's what you're
Heavily,
saying.
heavily.
Don, do you feel as if that's a accurate diagnosis, or would you say, he may be trying to put something on your jacket real quick? But how do you feel about that, Stockholm?
I mean, red herrings and moving the goalposts is all legal in a debate. However, I'm not so easily swayed. Here's what I can't figure. Why would the Jews want to stone Stephen after he made the same declaration that was stated to Abraham in Genesis? You're gonna have to deal with that. You see how it gets to the point?
Mm.
Right to the point. You see, because that's where you put the dagger in. at that point, because that's where it hurts and that's where it counts. You know, little throwaway stuff is just that means it's the package. It's not the stuff you ordered. It's the package. You know, the bubble wrap, the box, the tape, the wrap. None of that, because it's no good. It's not
Oh,
gonna work.
the fluff, the fluff.
The fluffy, superfluous
Oh my God!
stuff. Oh my God! And that's what you're gonna be hearing at the end of that show.
All right,
Oh
so
my
wait one
God!
second,
I
because
didn't know he had that. Oh my God! That's right.
what I
Kill
did
shot
there
at the kids.
is I posed that question in regards to his position about America. And I wouldn't be a fair host if I didn't pose that same thing to you in regards to Africa. Do you have any throwaways? Any spare bullets? Any extra lunch meat? Any side mayonnaise condiments? Do you have anything that you could give us that makes you feel so comfortable that the prophecy was fulfilled in Africa? Come on, Don. Don't hold out, bro. You tripping.
Well, northeast is the location of Africa, geographically on the map. Okay, so they're on the other side of Jordan. That's definitely Africa. No doubt it's Africa. On that plate, indeed.
Love you.
Well, that's a given. Yeah. They cross over into the land of Canaan. This shows
Mm,
a separation between the Sinaitic slip and Egypt. And they have always been in Africa. But that means that's a known fact. That's low hanging fruit. But the
look.
question
Uh-oh.
is the Bible saying, see, here's another throwaway. Is Africa in Genesis 15? The answer is no. Throwaway.
Yes.
Second of all, it doesn't say Africa there.
Yes, it does.
There's no Africa
Wait,
in
wait. Who's the
Genesis
wait, wait,
15.
wait. My fault, Don
Yes.
Bar. Don't even listen. If you're not,
I said it was a throwaway,
yeah, wait,
so
no,
it don't
that's
matter.
somebody from the audience. Wait
Yeah.
one second, Don Bird. I don't want to have
Oh,
to
okay.
move anybody. It'll be a time for you guys to ask these people questions. Please do not intervene and take away from these guys' opportunity and moment. Please don't do that. I don't want to have to say things like final warning, but don't do that again. We're just gonna move you. Moderators, be right on top of it. If it happens, just get them going. Period. Don Bird, please
Okay.
finish.
So in Africa, so in Genesis 15, there's only 21 verses. Africa does not appear there in the text and the secondary source information. This is secondary source. Why? Because it's enumerated and it's separated by chapters and verses. That qualifies it as a bona fide secondary source. Now, that being stated, Africa's not in the text again, and it is ambiguous. It is ambiguous as far as the country. It does not mention a country. And then, by the way, America isn't there. Oops, slips is throw that away. That hit the ground. We can't eat that, baby. Let's don't know. Throw that in the trash. It says the nation, Genesis 15, verse 14, and that nation, not continent, not country, nation, whom they shall serve, I will judge. It doesn't say land. It's another throwaway. I will judge that nation. So we know it is a corporate body of people that have the same similar interests or blood ties relative under some rule, under some monarchy. We know that. But we can throw that away too, right? Let's try not to, because that's what this whole debate is going to be on. These details. If you miss any point of interest, and I counted about 11 out of this, if you miss any point, it's going to hurt.
Okay.
But
Wait
that's
one
a little
second.
throwaway for you.
So you said you got an 11-piece nugget, all throwaways, and you don't believe that Aaron is going to be detailed. Brother Aaron, are you here with us today?
Yeah, I'm here.
How do you feel about Don saying that you won't be able to go into details, or you're not going to be able to stand the fire when he gets into the fine details of your point? He feels as if it's going to crumble right at the seams. Like, talk to me.
Yeah, well, he was supposed to provide some throwaways, man. He said something about Africa being Northeast tectonic plate. Literally, I didn't hear, you know, I literally didn't hear anything which defined why he believes that this prophecy occurred in Africa.
Oh,
So
snap.
that alone, no, but on all seriousness, that alone, I heard a whole bunch of, word soup. I heard a whole bunch of talking, like I really did. But
So he was
when it comes
dancing.
to this day, oh yeah, for sure. Whenever it comes to this debate, brother Don, you keep saying that you got sources and all kind of stuff. You're gonna have to bring them, and not just bring them. You're gonna have to stand by them. And I would also ask that you don't just use one source, such as like Josephus, and spend an entire 10, 15-minute round rambling about how that one source shines brighter than everything else that the scriptures say, everything else that the history reflects, man. All of our history has been reflected, it even down to the increase of judgment with these nations, and specifically with this nation. And unprecedented things that we've been seeing with the economy, with the timeline, with their government, with their politics, with their medicine, with from up to down, left to right. The statistics are not in your favor post 400 years of us being here, family. You would have to change all of that. You would have to eradicate all of that, family. So, you would have to convince us that there's not a union being formed called BRICS. You would have to persuade us, bruh, that a pandemic out the blue didn't occur, that literally forced folks to make choices that they didn't want to make, bruh, on the
Right,
timeline. And you want to talk
right.
about judgment didn't occur? And by the way, I'm saying unprecedented things have been occurring. And I'll throw a little tidbit on this, brother. Our creator said that after our punishment is done, and this is reiterated with the prophets. That's why I'm perplexed why you didn't bring out any of the prophets which stated that these curses would transfer over from us onto these nations, like we seen in post in ancient Babylon, like we see occur with the Assyrians, with the Egyptians, bruh, with the Moabites, with the Philistines. We seen the curses transfer over. We see the destruction of them for what they did to the creator's chosen people. So you're gonna sit here and tell us, oh, brother, you're not seeing the exact same thing begin to occur on the timeline. I'm just gonna say that you're gonna have to
It's
change
ludicrous, huh?
everything.
Okay, so
But
wait 1 second. Wait
but
one
here's the
second.
thing though.
Go ahead, finish it out.
I was I was saying all that to say that curse is supposed to be transferring. Here's a small portion of some of our curses that we're gonna have an evil eye towards each other, and we can go down the line of the curses and see how it's applicable to these oppressive nations transferring over. We seen them arguing about Trump and Biden, bro, like to the T. We seen these folks storming their own shit. They arguing about these mandates and non-mandates. They arguing about LGBT, non-LGBT. Tides are turning where I've literally seen families split. Folks can't even stand each other, bro. And if you can't see these curses transferring over, then some folks must still want these curses upon them. But I'm talking about on the timeline, even statistically, and the statistics will bring as a minor secondary source, but I'm not going to spend much time on that at all. Because so much more is overwhelming, specifically the scriptures and the testimony
Mm-mm-mm.
of the prophets, brother. You want to speak about testimony? Bring up the testimony of the prophets and don't go to Stephen. I told you already, I'm an Old Testament only believer, bro. I don't deal with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and especially not no Stephen.
Mm,
Please don't
mm.
believe that I'm going to deal with that as credible information when you jumped over about how many of our major minor prophets, our kings, our princes, and all the testimonies that then occurred all through Torah and Tanakh, bro. Please bring them to the table.
Okay, wait. Hold up. I think we might need to do a round two. Just wait 1 second. He said he don't accept none of that other stuff. It's authoritative, Don. He OT only. That don't mean nothing to him.
Yeah.
Wait 1 second,
Well,
Don.
you know,
My fault, Don. Wait 1 second. I don't want to cut you because I matter of fact, go ahead and respond and then I'll say what I have to say. So because I did start with him. Go ahead and
Let
respond.
him
no.
cook.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Let him cook now.
Okay, so yeah. So let me say this. I think we might need a round two. Wait 1 second. Let me address some people. Trilla, are you here today?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Bro, I need an assessment for real, for real. I think both of these guys is punching. Both of these guys feel like the throwaways, they hitting. How do you feel, man?
don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to hear some people get put on the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? See how people could answer questions.
Round
Everybody
two.
theories sound good until questions come out.
Mm, mm. I don't want these guys to give away their sauce. Maybe we could slide in some questions for real. I think we might need to do that, but I'm gonna allow them to decide that for themselves. Hey, JJ 7000, you here, bro?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm checking everything out. I appreciate the brother for letting us use the platform for this preliminary for the Ultimate Debate League. Uh, I don't know how to post the link to the Lions Den, so I'm gonna send it in your individual personal messenger. That way, if the debate is on the Lions Den, you'll be able to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. Also, it may be on Black Jesus Ministry. Also, you guys are I'm pretty sure you know how to get a hold of Black Jesus. But while this is going on, if you get a message, it's from me. I'm just sending y'all the link to the Lions Den. So if you do want to see this debate, if it is on the Lions Den, this is where you're gonna go see it.
Hey, just send it to one of the mods, and they'll post it at the top of the room, so you don't have to, you know what I mean,
Oh,
do the
okay,
extra send it. Send it to Trilla.
okay,
Zion
yeah,
Warchild,
okay.
man. I
I
think
will.
we might have a competitor that's in the room. Zion, are you here with us? Is that Zion Warchild?
Yo, yo.
Be
Yeah, I'm
brief,
waiting
real
for
quick, man.
golden swords to pop up in here, man. I see these
Okay.
brothers in here doing their thing. You know what I'm saying?
Round two.
See
You
these
think we need
brothers
a
in here.
round two? Round two.
I think so. I think, you know what I'm saying? You know, yeah. The
Okay.
dialogue is really good. So, yeah, I
Okay.
definitely
Okay.
will do that.
Hey, you here with me? You here? Mama Steph, are you here?
It's affirmative.
Round two.
Affirmative.
So, so when it comes to the ethos, the attitude towards Stephen, I've encountered that before. I've got a book in my hand, and it teaches me, my basic primary numbers, 1 through 10. Half the book is talking about numbers 1 through 5. The other half is talking about numbers 5 through 10. But I don't want the half that talks about 5 through 10. I only want the numbers that talk, the portion of the book that talks about 1 through 5. What do we have here with that? I mean, this boils down to an issue of, can I believe the orator? What is your level of credibility when you're speaking? Half the book is no good, but yet you want to argue something about numbers. And then we're going to deal with arithmetic. But half the book that deals with arithmetic you don't want, but it's the basis of your knowledge. If you take this lackadaisical approach in this debate, you're going to be destroyed in round one. The debate is about the 400 years, not about whether you believe Stephen or not. But he is one of the witnesses. The word is martyreo in the Greek. Now, you talked about hermeneutics and textual critique earlier. Well, that's a part of it. See, as a debater, my focus is not about who I like personally in the Bible, who I've never met, who lived 2,040, 50 years before I was ever born. Who argues that way? Do I like Abraham Lincoln? Well, it don't matter. What did the man do? You see, and that's what we're talking about. What was done, what was said, what was accomplished, what are the events? Who witnessed it? Who was there? And that's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with the attitude of whether Stephen can be considered someone that you would use as, as a witness. But you don't gotta like him. We got other witnesses. See, I'm giving you exactly what you need right now. Witnesses. Paul is another one of these witnesses. And so is Moses. And then these are not the only ones. So New Testament, Old Testament argument gets thrown out of the window because what we're going to be dealing with is the subject of whether this occurred in the Old Testament. So when you're dealing with, what's credible or what can be considered credibility, you gave us your ethos, and now I'm giving you logos and
That's right.
pathos. You're going to get that. You're going to get
Hey,
that.
1,000 pardons, real quick. I'm new to this, but it says the replay is off. Is there any way we can turn it on?
No, I'm
Or
recording this.
once,
I'm recording this. I'll give
are
it
you
to you.
recording it? Okay,
Yes,
good
sir.
deal. Okay.
Aaron, are you here?
Yep, I'm still here.
Based on what I've just heard, your opponent feels as if you don't know the difference between the logos and the ethos. Can you expound on if he's correct or if he's just utterly wrong?
Yeah, he over here trying to say a difference between, I'm not sure if it's the word of these men he's claiming are witnesses, and that's where I would parry back with the fact that I don't think you know what a witness is, bro. 'Cause you could bring up Stephen Paul, you could bring Stephen King, it don't matter. We're not an eyewitness to what occurred in ancient Kemet. You did hit it on the head whenever you said Moses. And that's why I bring up Song of Moses. That's why I would bring up something like Exodus 12:40, which I know you're gonna use, bro. You're gonna try to use Exodus 12:40 to your advantage whenever that is an eyewitness. That's the only key eyewitness you can use, and it cuts you. It cuts your whole premise. It slides the whole carpet from underneath your foot, bro. And that's why you're gonna run from the actual witnesses in Torah and Tanakh, or in Torah primarily. The only witnesses that could have been there, bro, would be, these folks that endured it. I'm sure that you're familiar with Moses's paternal lineage. I'm sure that you're familiar with Amram, with Kohath. I'm sure that you're familiar with some of the other folks that was there, Joseph and all of them, bro. Those would be considered eyewitnesses. So unless they said our people were afflicted and enslaved for 400 years in these lands, then you can't go to Paul, my nigga, who wasn't there. You can't go to Stephen. You can't go to Josephus. You can't go to folks that's so far past whenever you literally then passed up the best material to go and get, not even secondary, not even third, not fourth, bro. I can't even tell you how many wash down the line sources you're trying to bring us, bro. Go to the mouth, go to the source. If Moses ain't say that happened to him, bro, pack it up. Why are you getting into this debate? If Amram and Co have his forefathers ain't see this and record this, or pass this down and they written in oral history, which is the primary source in Torah and Tanakh, because you wouldn't be believing in New Testament. And you ain't gonna wrangle me into killing my time, bro. Because in the actual debate, I wish you would try to bring up and appeal to the fact that I don't believe in quote unquote the whole canonical book, bro. I'm not even gonna stoop to your level because that's not what this is about at all. So don't try to divert. You talking about moving the goalposts, you switching goalposts, you facing the other way and scoring for the other squad, bro. At this point, that has nothing to do with the topic. So don't even sit here and try to bring the fact that I don't deal with Stephen because I don't deal with the whole book, bro. Ain't no one gonna sit here and support that because anyone with eyes to see gonna realize that's not the thesis. Has nothing to do with this thesis. Even if I came into a formal debate with something super unorthodox and said I only believe in the book of Exodus, bro, you would have to respect that and deal with it as a debater. I'm telling you, I don't deal with the shit you bring. So you could bring it if you want, bro. That's gonna hold no weight towards the validity of affirming or negating this thesis, and I'm gonna prove that time and time and time again. But the only thing I would counter, though, LV, to what you said with his argument with logos, etc., is that you don't even know the eyewitnesses, bro, and you can't be bringing up these folks that ain't no eyewitnesses that are extremely, like a lot of their works is considered pseudepigrapha, bro. Even European scholars will consider that. They don't even agree with some of the scholarship, quote unquote scholarship, and quote unquote primary sources you're trying to bring. Let's deal with the eyewitnesses, like you said. Bring us Exodus, bro. Bring us Exodus. I would love to see that. That's an eyewitness.
Wow. Don?
Well, I'm aiming at your credibility with the audience right now. You're getting a taste of it. You're just getting a taste of what Pro Rizzo 1 is really about. I'm shooting at your ankle. You made this comment about you don't accept New Testament. Unfortunately for you, New Testament is Old Testament. It's God's word. It's his old word and it's his new word. It's his old contract and his new contract. And he said it in first person point of view to Jeremiah, to Isaiah, to Ezekiel, and to Moses. And what he says to Moses as far as witnesses, he says to Aaron too. Aaron is also a witness, you see. And so is Miriam. And so are the 70 elders of Israel. In fact, I've got 3 and 4 generations as witnesses. You have none. What you have is a very subjective component that you want to use in your rhetoric to try to, you know, persuade the audience over to thinking that that 400 years was not accomplished in the Old Testament, but rather accomplished somewhere in 2019, as I already played in the outset of this room. You dig? So, you know, you're just, I don't know. Maybe you don't understand what you in for. So here's what you in for. Info, objective info with witnesses, a crowd of witnesses behind me on my team, a whole crowd of them. And they all pointing at the Bible. They're all pointing somewhere around 1400 BC. That's what the scholars and the historians are pointing. Yeah, I will give you this. Exodus 12 and 40 and 41 are complete kill shots for you. Don't know how you're going to get around them. And the curses that you mentioned earlier are irrelevant. This is not a curse. Soon as you try that, I'm going to smother it. God is not telling Abraham about a curse. Now, is he? No, he's not. In fact, in the 12th chapter, he tells you, I'm going to make a covenant with you and your generations after you. And he's in the land. What you're going to have to demonstrate for us is how you're going to get a 3rd and 4th generation here in America or in Zimbabwe or anywhere on this planet outside of where they actually were, which is the land of Canaan, which is the land of promise. That was their home. Here, I'll read this. This is Exodus chapter 12. Exodus 12, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be to you the beginning of months. Right there. That's a count. That's a time stamp. That's where you start counting their years. When you go to Genesis 15, though, I'll give you this. Where's these time stamps? Where does the time begin? In Genesis 15 from Exodus. You don't have it. See, you better start building your bridge. You need to build a big clock. You're going to need it. But this is certainly one angle I'm going to come at you with. And I hope you have an answer for it. I can start time counting with the Jews at that point. They're in Egypt here. They're still in Egypt. I don't know how you're going to deal with that. I could tell you more, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. It's surprise pie is what we selling on this debate. And you're going to get a whole mouthful of it. Let's see how you deal with that. I'm off the mic.
Okay. Don, Bird, and Aaron, stand down. Relax. Fall back. Chill. Get loose. I need y'all to take a pause really quick because I don't want to give the crowd too much and I don't want you guys to spoil everything, okay? What we will do is we'll do closing statements from both of you brothers, whether you want to address the crowd, whether you want to address each other. You can do that within your closing statement. As far as your obligation to the prelim, it's been fulfilled as of this moment. From this moment on, if you choose to answer any questions, whether it be from each other or the audience, it will be up to you to do so. So I'm just putting you guys on notice. Are we clear on this? Aaron, are we clear? Aaron,
I got you.
just both of you brothers give your closing statements, and then we turn it over to the floor.
I'll just go ahead since he went last, I believe, man. But I appreciate you taking this debate, man, because I will say this right here. Not too many people are jumping in the form of debates into which you have a designated topic or a thesis, you have a structure, you have moderation, and you have a judging criteria. And I always say this, and Clubhouse is literally the worst platform I've ever been on for this. Niggas that just want to just be somebody, talking, twisting scriptures, perverting scriptures, adding to scriptures, subtracting from scriptures, blocking, muting, ganging up, over talking, and acting in ways that are damn near uncivilized. How you gonna pollute holy scriptures with an animalistic behavior, with a want to be right, with always cussing niggas out? Every time I come on Clubhouse, man, I was arguing with this one nigga about Jeremiah. Like, bro, just think about that sentence you just said. We should be edifying. And the only correct way to edify, from what I've seen, I'm not gonna hold you, unless you are a humble and contrite and meek person, you can hold a civil discussion. Oh, we've had them. And mainly we find those civil discussions in Torah and Tanakh groups, you know? But for the most part, Clubhouse is notorious for niggas that want to be somebody, a debater, a scholar, a teacher, a rabbi, a leader, and will not formally debate. Nothing.
That's
Will
right.
sit there and argue circles around you. So I do appreciate Don. And for anybody that has anything negative to say, anything condescending to say, go ahead and say it. I've heard it all in Clubhouse. But I'm gonna always urge you, step into a formal debate and defend what the hell you talking about. Defend your doctrine. Anybody can create a social media image, probably don't reflect who you truly are as a man at the crib at all. But you think you could come out here and say these things? I do applaud Don for coming in this debate, but I will urge you, brother, stick to them scriptures. Stick to the eyewitnesses. If you're going to bring up an eyewitness, bro, bring up an eyewitness. And as far as questions go, I really don't know, because I'm probably going to answer them all. I ain't got nothing to hide. And there's probably folks here that won't tune in later on, and my aim ain't to win or to prove myself right. My aim is always to affirm the scriptures and to affirm what our Creator says. So if I have a chance to do such here, I'm gonna continue doing it.
Understood, Don Bird.
What's the debate about?
Wait one sec. Don't. Don Bird.
Right. So yeah, I do appreciate you taking this debate. This is a hot button topic, along with several dozen topics. Yeah, I agree. Clubhouse definitely has its ups and its downs, its pros and its cons. One thing I can say, I have met some of the most beautiful people on Clubhouse. I have met some faithful people on Clubhouse. I have met some staunch believers in God on Clubhouse. That's worth a round of applause from Pro Rizzo. I appreciate the people on Clubhouse. I appreciate every one of y'all, whether you a nigger nut or bed of roses, whether you a spring chicken, a tenderoni, or whether you are full blossomed. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother LV, for your labor of love. I appreciate that. And I love to sit back and listen more than I like to talk. But tonight, I'm going to talk tonight. Because this is needful. And my goal is the same as it always have been, to raise the level of mentation for our people. We don't have to stay stagnant with the word of God. I debate not because I love debating. People assume that about me. They don't know me. But this ain't about me. But the purpose is to elevate, to incite your mind to riot against the walls that are there hindering you from seeing the truth, if that is the case. To elevate you to the point where you can teach. Somebody taught me to tie my shoes. I turned around and taught my little sister how to tie her shoes. Somebody taught me multiplication. I turned around and taught my little sister multiplication. And before she was out of 6th grade, she was already going to a magnet school with the 10th graders and 11th graders gifted. Today, she's a lawyer, becoming a judge. She's already bypassed teacher mode. See, you see how fruit work? You see how cultivation works? Clubhouse is a cult. That's a good thing. But you know, if you've had any experience out in the field, there's gonna be some bugs. There's gonna be some gnats. There's gonna be some things out there you ain't so, you don't like. But isn't it worth the reward? It's worth it, isn't it? So you have to do your due diligence. So that's my whole objective. For us to learn, no matter what field or area of study you are in, no matter what your work is or career, God's word is important. And here is a place, unlike many other places, that you can come to where you will at least somebody is talking about God. And that right there is a place where I want to be. I may not agree with everything everybody says. I don't have to. We don't all wear the same size shoes. Now, do we? So, no. This is a good thing. You take the good and the evil, the blessing and the curse. And so with that, folks, I hope y'all come out to our debate, support us. The brother seems like he's intelligent. I don't get no guile out of him. He said nothing disrespectful to me, and I won't be disrespectful towards him. We're going to have a good scholastic academic debate. And you know what? May the Most High get the glory. This is Pro Rizzo 1. I'm off the mic.
So I want to let both of you brothers know, Aaron and Don Bird, tomorrow is Friday, and we have to finalize the date. Are you guys available to finalize the date right now, or do you want that extra time to figure out when you want to do this?
I'm ready whenever we can, set up a platform we can go on.
Okay, Aaron, when is your availability?
And it'll most likely be in the evening. But as far as the day, man, I'm gonna have to check up, and I'll probably need that grace period till tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll put a pin in that tomorrow. We definitely have to do it. Let me close this out. We appreciate everybody for coming here. Thank you, Grand Rising Room, for allowing us, the UDL, the Ultimate Debate League, to host a prelim in your room and reach out and have access to your clubhouse audience. Don Bird versus the brother Aaron. 400-year prophecy of Genesis 15 fulfilled in America or Africa. Make sure that you click the link at the top of the room. That is Jeremiah Judas, aka JJ7000. That is his YouTube channel. If you go there and subscribe there, regardless of if this debate is there on Black Jesus Ministries, you will be able to get the alert. And it will be posted by tomorrow night. We will be finalizing this. So just go there, subscribe. Go to all the associated YouTubes and subscribe. Black Jesus Ministries, Clubhouse Streets. And we definitely love the support that you guys have came out and gave us tonight. We'll close it out with a song, and then we'll open it back up for the floor. These brothers said they're open to questioning. And, if they don't want to answer your question because it's intricately involved in their debate, please respect that. And let's just take what we can get from these guys. And love. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube at the top and click the Grand Rising Room at the top and become a member. Thank you very much.
Yes. Well, this does feel like a grand rising of Europe. I'm learning the truth. No time to be wrong. If you say something dumb, I'm on your boots. What the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. right back to the truth. I'm learning the truth, no time to be wrong. If you say something, a million boots, what the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. I see sources state that fact, I bring that back right back to the truth. Run that back, I'm sensing a lie. That ain't consistent, I'm hearing it different. I'm hip to the mission, you hear the divide. Still in submission, the key in ignition. I flip it, transmission to see how you drive. Drift in the linen, I see how you winning. The time Teddy sticky, you know how it fly. It's the truth. Come back like surprise. Life is a cake, if you wait, keep it straight on the pace. Can't wait to give me that pie. What about proof? Straight from the roots. Need proof that's straight from the roots. Need me some proof. Need me some proof that's straight from the roots. Straight from the roots. I need proof. None of that other shit, nigga. I don't need rhetoric, nigga. I need the proof. I'm learning the truth. No time to be wrong. If you say something dumb, I'm on your boots. What the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. I need sources to state that fact. I bring that back right back to the truth. I'm learning the truth. No time to be wrong. If you say something dumb, I'm on your boots. What the fuck is you on? I need proof from the root. I see sources to state that fact. I bring that back right back to the truth.
Make sure y'all go to the Lions Den and subscribe. Go to the UDL, Universal Debate League. Go subscribe there. Support the brother Aaron. Support the brother Don, JJ7000. I do want to give Trilla, if he is in the room, the opportunity to ask the first question. He did put the stamp on us using the room, so I definitely want to give him that due diligence if he would take it. Trilla, are you here?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely here, and for the sake of not asking these brothers to come out with too much information, I really would just kind of laying back off of what Pro Rizzo said. I like I like the question that he asked. Hey, well, you know what I'm saying? What time you starting to count? What year the count start?